Hey, welcome. So today we're going to tackle a really big shift in how we think about projects. For, decades, success was measured with a pretty simple formula. But you know what? That formula is basically obsolete now. The whole definition of what makes a project successful has been completely rewritten. So let's dive in and see what that really means.
Okay, let me start by asking you a question. Just think about the last project you worked on. If it came in right on time and under budget, was it automatically a success? The traditional answer would be, yeah, of course. But really think about it. What if a team launches a new app, hits the schedule perfectly, but nobody uses the features? Is that really a success? Now flip that. What if another project is late, but it delivers a tool that literally revolutionizes how an entire department works? You see, this question right here is at the heart of everything we're talking about.
For a long time, project management was basically just a big juggling act. The old focus was all about constraints, right? You had to manage the scope, stick to the schedule, maintain quality. It was all about delivering the work efficiently. But today's world, the modern marketplace, it demands so much more. The focus has shifted to something way bigger, the project's value proposition. It's not just about how we build something anymore, it's all about the why.
And that brings us to the new mandate in project management, which is all about value. We have to make a fundamental shift in our thinking and start treating every single project as an investment, not just a to-do list with a bunch of tasks to check off.
This quote right here just reframes the entire purpose of a project. It's not an expense, right? It's an investment, and every investment demands a return. And that value isn't always about money. It could be happier customers, a stronger brand, or, meeting some critical new regulation. The point is, the benefit you expect to get has to justify the cost and the effort you put in. Always.
So if projects are investments that are supposed to create value, how do they actually do it? Well, they do it by driving change. When you get right down to it, projects are the engines that move an organization from where it is today to where it wants to be tomorrow. This journey is everything. Every organization is in a current state. A project gets kicked off to move it to a desired future state, a state that delivers on some important goal. And in the middle, there's usually this critical transition state, basically the steps you take to get from A to B. A project's real success is defined by making that journey and actually achieving that valuable future state. So what kicks this whole journey off? Well, it's usually one of these triggers. Maybe a new law forces a change in how you do things, or a really important customer requests a new feature. Sometimes the leadership team rolls out a whole new business strategy, or maybe it's as simple as a product needing to be fixed or improved. Each one of these is a call to action, and a project is the answer that makes the change happen and delivers the value.
Okay, with all this talk about value and change, how do you make sure a project doesn't just drift off course? Well, that's where governance comes in. And please, don't think of this as some restrictive red tape bureaucracy. Think of it more like the project's GPS. It's the essential guidance system that's constantly steering you towards your destination, value.
Let's be super clear about what we mean by governance here. It's all about providing necessary oversight and corrections. It's about looking at the big picture, making sure the project stays aligned with its real goals, and actively working to squeeze every last drop of value out of it. It's not passive at all. It's an active steering function.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? Well, governance isn't something you just set and forget at the beginning. It has to be woven into the entire life cycle of a project, making sure value stays front and center from start to finish. This framework here shows exactly how governance plays a part in the 5 core phases of pretty much any project. Let's start right at the top, with initiating, because that's where governance has its first and, honestly, maybe its most critical impact. This is exactly why that initiating phase is so critical. If you don't have a crystal clear business case and total stakeholder alignment on what that desired end state even looks like, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. Good governance demands that this vision is spelled out and agreed upon before any real work gets started. So let's keep going. During planning, governance makes sure every single plan is explicitly tied back to achieving the project's goals. Then, in the executing phase, it helps everyone understand the why behind the work, which is a huge motivator. During monitoring, governance lets the project adapt to changes without losing sight of the value goal. And finally, in the closing phase, it confirms that the project actually had the impact it was supposed to have. That's the final measure of success.
So the main takeaway is this. Value isn't just a box you tick at the beginning of a project. Through good governance, it becomes the constant central focus, the North Star that guides every decision, every plan, and every action, in every single stage.
And it's good to know that this value-focused approach doesn't exist in a bubble. It's connected to a whole ecosystem of other disciplines like change management and benefits realization, all of which give you powerful tools to maximize the return on your project investments.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Instead of always asking, are we on schedule or are we on budget, what if we started with a totally different question? For your very next project, what's the one question you're going to ask to make sure you're focused not just on delivery, but on its true underlying value?